Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel MKS Tech Talks. So in my YouTube channel, you can find one playlist with the name DevOps Training Series 0 to Hero. So in this playlist, you can find the different topics like Linux, Git, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Terraform, and AWS Cloud. So these topics I explained from basic to advanced concepts with real-time scenarios. So just to follow this playlist to become the DevOps engineer in 2 months. So this is very good opportunity. Please utilize this opportunity. So please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel MKS Tech Talks. Thank you. So here we have Git directory, right? So go to Git directory. And these are the files we have. So check the status, Git status. So nothing to commit, working tree clean. And check the list of files in the local repository. So these are the files we have in the local repository. The files in the working directory and local repository are in sync. Okay. So for now, what we are going to see is so here if we have any changes in the working directory, right? So these changes I don't want to move to the local repository. Okay, so even if I am not moving the changes, I want to get the clean status. That is my requirement. Okay, so you got right. So if we do any changes in the working directory, we are not going to get clean status. Okay, because always Git will compare our working directory changes with the local repo. Both are, if both are in sync, then only we'll get the working tree clean status. But here our intention is, so even though we are doing the changes in the working directory, so we have to get the clean status. Means Git has to ignore the changes in the working directory. Okay, so that is the requirement here. So if that is the case, what we can do is we are going to create one .gitignore file. So .gitignore file. Okay. So .gitignore is the file which we need. What this file will do is so if we place any file name in this particular file, okay, the given files will not be monitored by the Git. Okay, the given files will not be monitored by the Git. That is what .git ignore file is going to do. Okay, so this is like a simple file only. Just we have to keep our files. What are the files we need not to monitor, right? That file names we have to keep under .git ignore file. Okay, so this file will ignore the changes. Okay, so if we place any file name under .git ignore file. Okay, so if we place any file name, okay, if we place any file name in this file, then the mentioned files will not be monitored by Git. So the given files will be ignored. That is what this git ignore file is going to do. Okay. So here, what this dot represent? So this dot represent it is a hidden file. Okay. So we already discussed right in the Linux. So all the hidden files will start with the name with the dot. Okay. So how to check the hidden files? You can see ls hyphen ELA. So this is the command to check the hidden file. So these are the hidden files we have dot git. Okay, so these are the hidden folders we have dot git double dot. Okay, and as of now we didn't created any hidden files. If we want to create the hidden file, we have to keep dot in the file name at the beginning of the file name. We have to keep dot. Okay. Now, so here, So we have ls hyphen le, right? So only these are the hidden files we have. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to vi. So dot git ignore. This is the file I am trying to create. Git ignore. Okay. This is like a simple file only. Otherwise, I can use a touch command. So instead of using vi, just a empty file I'm trying to create. Okay. So now check ls hyphen la. You see, we got dot git ignore file. We got dot git ignore file. Okay. Okay. So now what will be the status here? Git status. Tell me the status. Earlier we are getting clean status, right? Now what status will get? Can we get clean status or not?
No, we modify.
Why no clean status? Because we created a new file, right?
Yeah.
Means we did some modification in the Git folder. Okay. So that is the reason we are not going to get the clean status. Untracked files. Dot git ignore. Okay. Dot git ignore is the untracked files we have. Now, as usual, we have to commit the changes. Okay. So git and dot and git commit hyphen m added ignore file. Okay, added ignore file. So now we committed the changes. Now check the status. So nothing to commit, working clean. So that's it. Okay. So now we got our required file. We got our required file. This is the file we need. Okay. Dot git ignore file we need. Now what I'm doing is so here we have clean status, right? So now I'm trying to create some more files. So I'm creating touch. So file one I'm creating, and test3 file I'm creating. So these two files I'm trying to create here. Okay. So create these files. So ls, so I created file one, test3 files, and we know the status now. Untracked files will get. Okay. So untracked files for file one, test3. Tracked files for file one, test3. Okay. Now without moving these changes to the local repository, I want to get the clean status. Okay, I want to get the clean status. Means I want to neglect these file changes. I want to ignore these file changes. Okay, I want to git to ignore these file changes. So if that is the case, what we have to do is we have to place these files in the dot git ignore. Okay, so that just file names. File names is enough. So now what I'm doing is vi so dot git ignore dot git ignore. So go to this particular file. Okay. So what are the files we have? File one. I want to ignore file one and test three. So these files I want to ignore. Okay. So just we have to keep the file names. That's enough. Okay. Save the changes. Okay. So file one test three. Now check cat dot git ignore dot git ignore. You see, we have file one test3. So we place file one test3 under dot git ignore file. Earlier we are getting untracked file status. Now, so here just observe here. So earlier we got untracked files for file one test3. Okay. After that, what operation we did? We modified dot git ignore also. Okay. We modified dot git ignore also. Means another modification we did. Now, what will be the status here? What will be the status? So earlier we have untracked files for file 1 test3. After that we modified .git ignore file. So what will be the status? Tell me.
Clean
So
status.
yeah, it has to clean status. How can we get a clean status? Because we modified .git ignore also, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
modified .git ignore also. Okay. So already untracked files are there. In addition to that, we modified .git ignore file also. Okay. Now check the status. You see, changes not staged for commit. So modified .git ignore. Okay. Modified .git ignore. Now, so the status is showing only .git ignore changes. It is not showing file 1 test3 changes. Why it is not showing file 1 test3 changes? Why Git is not monitoring? Because we placed these files in the .git ignore
Git ignore.
file. So now if we do any changes for these files, Git is not going to monitor. Git will ignore everything for these files. Okay. So now I have modified .git ignore file. So just commit the changes. Git dot and git commit. So added file to ignore. Okay. Now check the status. You see, working tree clean. But here you see, so we have 5 files in the working directory. Check the files in the local repository. GIT6 files. We have only 4 files. So you can neglect these. So we have only 3 files in the local repository. So even though we have mismatch in the files, number of files, we are getting working tree clean status. How we are getting this working tree clean status? Because we
We
added
use
these files. File 1 test3 we added under .git ignore file.
carpet B. Yeah.
Okay, that is the reason here. Now I'm trying to modify file 1, vi file 1. So just I added something here. Okay, I modified file 1. I modified file 1. Okay, so what will be the status now? What will be the status? Check the status. You see, clean status we are getting. Means Git is not monitoring these files, whatever we placed under .git ignore. Okay, so that is the reason why we are getting the clean status. Always we are getting the clean status. Okay, so similarly, I'm trying to modify test3 also. Test3 also I placed under .git ignore. Okay, so I'm modifying test3 file also. So just save the changes. Now check the status. Nothing to commit, working tree clean. Okay, so in this way, we can ignore the files. If we want to ignore any file changes, means if we don't want to move the file changes from working directory to the local repository, we can ignore the changes by adding the files in the .git ignore file. Okay, by adding the files in the .git ignore file. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I am trying to remove one of the file. Okay, so I'm trying to remove one of the files. So before this, clear. Now this is the status we have, working tree clean status we have, and git ls files, git ls files. So these are the files we have. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to release one of the file from .git. Okay. Okay. Now check this one. Go to .git file. So go to insert mode. So here I am releasing test3 file. Okay, I am releasing test3 file. So Now I have deleted test3 file. Save the changes. Now if I check the status, what status I will get? Here what I did, I modified .gitignore file. Okay, I modified content of .gitignore file. So what status will get here? So it will show change is not staged. Change is not staged. Okay, that is the message we are expecting here. Okay, so check the status. Check the status. You see, our expectation is change is not staged for .git. Git ignore. But in addition to this, it is showing untracked files for test3. Why we are getting untracked files for test3?
We removed it from
Yes,
gitignore.
as we removed test3 file from .gitignore. Okay, so whenever we remove the file from .gitignore, so the particular changes will be reflected. Okay, so then from that time onwards, Git starts monitoring that file. As the Git is monitoring, it is showing untracked files. So now check git diff command. What this git diff command will do? So git diff will show the changes. What are the changes we have? So here we have the changes under .git ignore file. Okay, we have changes under .git ignore file. So and then test here you can see minus represent test3 got deleted from .git ignore file. Test3 got deleted from .git ignore file. What this .git diff command will do is always it will compare with working directory and local repository. It will see what is the difference between working directory and local repository. Okay, so test3 still we didn't move to the local repository, right? That is why it is not showing a diff command. It is showing only .git ignore file. Okay, it is showing only .git ignore changes. So this thing also you have to remember. Okay, so for now here this is the one we have, and the status is the status we have. Now I want to move the changes to the local repo. Then I can use git add dot and git commit. So remove file from ignore. Okay. Now check the status. So check the status. So git status working directly, nothing to commit. And check the list of files. So we have 5 files in the working directory. Check the list of files in the local repository. So we have 4 files. So now we got test3 file. Test3 now available in the local repository. Okay. So if I do the changes in test3 file, now what will happen? If I do changes in test3 file, so do the changes in test3 file. So this is to test ignore file. Okay, so save the changes. Now, so earlier when we are modifying, whenever we are trying to modify test3 file, so we are getting clean status. After modification of test3 file also, we are getting clean status. Now check the status. Check the status. Can we get the clean status now? Can we get the clean status? You see, change is not stayed for commit modified test3. Okay, so we are not going to get the clean status here. Okay, so to get the clean status, again we have to move the changes to the local repository. Then only we'll get the clean status. Okay, so git dot and git commit -m. So for modified test3. Okay, now see the status. Now see the status. So working tree clean, nothing to commit. Okay. So and so here, so cat dot git ignore file dot git ignore file. git ignore. So now with the .git ignore file, we have one file. File one is there. File one is there with the .git ignore. Now we have clean status. If we remove file one from .git ignore, so again we are not going to get the clean status. Okay, so try to remove this file also. I don't want any file in the .git ignore file. Okay, so .git ignore. So go to insert mode and save the changes. Okay, now check the status. You see, modified .git ignore untracked files file one. Okay, so actually we did modification for .git ignore only, but it is showing file one changes also because we removed file one from the .git ignore file. Okay, now we have to move the changes. Dot git git add dot git commit -m. Okay, so git commit -m, commit the changes. So removed all files from ignore. Okay, now I committed the changes. Now check the status. So nothing to commit, working very clean, and you can see 5 files in the working directory and 5 files in the local repository. Okay, so both are in sync. Both the working directory and local repository are in sync. So this is how we can use a .git ignore file. What this .git ignore file will do? So to ignore any file changes from the working directory, we can simply use .git ignore file. Okay. So any doubts here? Any doubts up to now?
No, sir.
Madhav,
It's clear.
Akash?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's clear now.
Okay. Now, so we did so many commits, right? How can we check the commits? How to check the commit IDs? What is the commit? Git log --- one line. You see, these many commits we have. These many commits we have. Okay. So at every commit we did some changes. At every commit we did some changes. But in real time we'll have hundreds of commits. Okay, real time we will have hundreds of commits. So now just by seeing the commit ID, we cannot identify what changes we did in a particular commit ID. Okay, so my intention is I want to add some tag to my commit ID. Okay, so that by seeing the tag, I can easily identify. So what operation I did in a particular commit ID. So let us consider. So I upgraded my MongoDB. Okay, so I upgraded my MongoDB at a particular commit ID. Okay, so then what I can do is I can add the MongoDB related tag that at that particular commit ID. Just by seeing the commits, we can easily identify in that particular commit ID, we upgraded MongoDB, MongoDB database. Okay. So similarly, if whatever the operation we have performed, right? So if you want to easily identify, what we can do is, so we can add the tags because it is difficult to remember these commit IDs. Okay, so it is difficult to remember commit IDs. So for this purpose, what we can do is we can